Today is the International Day to End Impunity Against Journalists. According to the United Nations, about or at least 1,200 journalists have been killed globally within the last 14 years, with perpetrators of at least 9 out of every 10 of the cases going unpunished. On this year's edition of the International Day to End Impunity Against Journalists, all governments are encouraged to lay down enabling environments to ensure that journalists take up their task or their profession independently and efficiently so that they are protected. Good evening and welcome to today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime. Genda Piojin Blanche King is my name. Minister of Territorial Administration, Minister Paul Atanganji, has paid a second visit to the chief town of Kmer Division, Kumba. He was in Kumba earlier today, purposely to meet family members who lost loved ones during the October 24 massacre. He also made a stop at the Mother Francisca International Bilingual School, where the kids were brutally murdered on October 24, 2020. The national chairman of the Social Democratic Front SDF political party, Nijon Fundi, has regained his national territory after spending over 10 months in the United States of America. Nijon Fundi touched down at the Yaoundé Simalin International Airport yesterday. Our reporter Lasha Kinsley was in Yaoundé. He compared the following.
Nijon Fundi returned in the early hours of Sunday, November 1, 2020, after spending 10 months in the United States of America. A cream of dignitaries stemming from top party officials, militants and sympathizers, religious leaders, ministers, members of parliament all turned out at the chairman's Soir residence in Yaoundé to give him a warm welcome back home, as well as take part in the ecumenical service organized by the SDF party to pay homage to Barrister Sama Francis, Honorable Mbandam, and a series of tragic incidents which happened in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon while the chairman was away.
Now that all the people across the board have come for us to cry them, let this love transcend across all the facets of things that we are doing in Cameroon. Because until we love each other, until we are honest to each other to tell the truth, we cannot change this country.
The honest truth is that we are here on the auspices of the ecumenical service which the chairman has organized for the passing away of some of his very close collaborators of the SDF. And I was opportune to be invited. I have been able to discuss with the chairman personally, and we discussed a few things about the country and about the crisis which is going on in the Anglophone region.
Speaking during the twin ceremony, Fundi blamed some of the tragic incidents on the young people for what he termed quest for fast money.
None of them came to me, but I told them that they should come together and choose a leadership. Because, I mean, go to Bamenda, there are different camps. Abroad, there are different camps. When I had Zoom conferences with them, I was able to count at least 18 different camps. How do you, if you cannot agree, how will the children on the field agree? No. So that all grabbing people now is money. And that's why you, the younger generation, I blame you. Because everybody's, I need money now. And I want it now. Let us work for our country. And the monies will come. God bless you all.
The first Vice National Chairman, Honorable O.C. Joshua, speaking to the press shortly after the ceremony, said though the National Chairman was away, the party was still functioning normally.
We are grateful to have him back with us. It has been a difficult time for both the chairman and the party. And as you know, the party constitution is such that the vice presidents of the party execute duties assigned to them by the national chairman. So the party was functioning all okay. Maybe it wasn't functioning as some people would have wished it to function, but I think there is nothing you can say that the party was supposed to do that it didn't do. And the national chairman is back. He's back in town, meaning that over the coming weeks we'll be sitting together to try to to work out on our activities for 2021.
The SDA party plans to organize a press conference in the days ahead to address some of the burning issues affecting the life of the nation.
And yesterday, November 1 was observed by Catholic faithfuls as All Saints' Day. Here in Cameroon, Catholic churches seized the opportunity to pray for the repose of the souls of over 7 kids brutally murdered on campus at St. Francisca or Mother Francisca International Bilingual School in Fiango, Kumba. Details with our reporter Darling Gonde in the following reports.
The All Saints' Day is a celebration of all Christian saints who are believed to be in heaven, with no specific feast day reserved in honor of them. The day, which is mostly observed by Christians from the Roman Catholic, Protestant and Anglican backgrounds, is set aside to remember the martyrs of faith while praying for their peaceful repose at the Lord's bosom. In most of the churches visited, the message of peace and reconciliation have been emphasized, with the Christians being called upon to be flag bearers of the virtues preached. As the world continues to witness a cumulation of crises including wars, terrorism, hunger, poverty, epidemics, and the list at large, most clergies on this day have challenged their Christians to be crusaders of peace while shunning violence by promoting instincts of love and reconciliation. On this Hallows Day, believers were also urged to seek everlasting holiness by adopting compassionate, loving, and caring attitudes towards one another. In the same light, the opportunity was also given for them to wish the souls of the faithful departed to continuously resting in the mercy of Christ Jesus while being comforted with the hope of rejoining them someday, with particular focus on the kids who recently died during the October 24th Kumba massacre. While drawing inspiration from the Gospel according to St. Matthew, the faithfuls were also reminded of the benefits of peacemakers, as they shall be called children of God.
The pastor of Good Liberation Outreach Movement in Bamenda says now is the time for Christians to unite in prayers and pray for the return of peace in Cameroon, especially in the 2 restive regions that have been suffering or badly hit by the ongoing socio-political crisis rocking the regions. According to the pastor, the permanent solution will only come with prayers and through God. Charles Kiba reports from Bamenda.
Pastors of Good Liberation Outreach Movement in Bamenda are spiritual authorities who've been in the upper chamber of prayer for a long time since the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest region, seeking for solution from God. Today, October 30th, finally released a solution to the situation ongoing in the 2 Anglophone regions and the Cameroon in prayers and reading from 2 Chronicles 7 verses 14, which says,
"If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and heal their land."
In prayers, the pastors from the upper chamber of prayer invoke God in urgent need, cry for change of attitude and repentance to those who influence the public, create the desire of peace.
For peace, because we have been in the upper chamber of prayer and we have been praying, seeking God day and night because of the things that have been happening mercifully around our lives. And we are the spiritual authorities. And spiritual authorities, they are the spiritual eyes of God upon every nation. And we see it is a need for us to see into the situation and take it the responsibility to see that peace return back in our country.
Given the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest is a spiritual confusion that needs God's divine direction.
Not a time of throwing blames at each other. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. It's not a time for us to blame our nation or to blame ourselves. It's a time for peace. It's been 4 years. And if we say we are servants of God and we can't come out, then we are fake. We are fake. When the nation is not moving, we can't be going to church every Sunday, pretending to be preaching, pretending to be collecting offerings and tithes, and we can't come out to even put our life at risk to cry out against the evil.
Work out fundamental decisions and divine directions to obtain peace without any discrimination. The pastors urge Christians to unite in prayers, plead for peace, safeguard men to Christ, freely create ideas in building peace for young generation for a better tomorrow.
Traditional rulers in the country have equally condemned violent acts in the two English-speaking regions since the escalation of the Anglophone crisis in late 2017. This call was triggered by the recent killings of the Saturday 24 October massacre, where over 7 kids were brutally murdered by armed individuals who still not identified. Up to this moment, the chiefs were out of on Saturday, gathered at the Reunification Monument in Boya to perform a cleansing rituals for a ceasefire. Crise tells us more in the following report.
We are at the Reunification Monument here in Boya, where chiefs in Cameroon have come out this day to pour libation in honor of the school children massacred in Kumba. They have vehemently denounced such barbaric acts. A clumsy face all dressed in black. These are councils of traditional rulers in Cameroon who have converged at this historic site of the Reunification Monument to pay homage to victims of the Anglophone crisis who were recently killed in Kumba.
Wherever they are, and whoever sent them, and whoever is teleguiding them, should understand that they have done evil. They have done a cruel thing to the nation, and that so it should be desisted. And that no human being will accept that you go to a child. The child has a right to education, and that education is completely cut off.
While performing a cleansing ritual, this Saturday set aside across the national territory to mourn victims of the Kumba massacre, the traditional rulers have condemned such barbaric acts while calling on youth in bushes to lay down their arms.
The incident happened in Kumba a week ago, for the children we lost. And the tradition is to call our ancestors that they should give some strength, even touch the mind of the children who are in the bushes to come back home. And then we'll do some cleansings for what has happened.
And we will never be tired to say no to what happened in Kumba. We will never be tired, a million times, we will condemn it a million times, that what happened should never happen again.
I didn't really take time to watch. I just saw a flash of the videos. And I fell sick as a parent. I want all Cameroonians to know that problems are part of life. But what are you going to tell those children that you kill if the problem is solved tomorrow? How are you going to meet them? So everybody should know that we have one Cameroon. We should solve problems in a pacific way.
Before this ritual, the traditional rulers had earlier gathered at the premises of the Southwest Governor's Office, where they were granted audience by Governor Bernard Okala Bilai, who re-echoed the important role these traditional rulers ought to play at this crucial and trying time in the country. Meanwhile, flags were flown at half-marks as the national territory grieved over the lost souls in the Kumba massacre.
Some internally displaced persons in Bafang West region of the country have benefited from didactic materials and basic food items donated by Fcfa Cameroon. The food items were donated or shared to the internally displaced persons yesterday. Details in the following report.
From Ndobo in Bonaberi, Douala, Survivor Cameroon Initiative was on another humanitarian visit to Bafang West region of the country. Over 100 internally displaced persons benefited from basic food items and didactic materials. Present in their numbers at the Anglophone Catholic Mission Station, Ndokovi Bafang, the recipients were received by the representative of SCSI IDP's Rescue Program, Fabrice Lena, who encouraged the people, most of whom had expressed discomfort and woes faced since they involuntarily left their comfort zones due to the over 4 years socio-political crisis in the two English-speaking regions that has recorded several deaths, crippled economy, and raised doubts over the security of the people. It was also an opportunity to call on the mercy of God through a prayer for peace and a moment of silence for the repose of the souls of the over 7 kids who were brutally murdered by unidentified armed men on October 24, 2020 at the Mother Francisca International Bilingual School, Kumba.
May the souls of those departed rest in peace.
Amen. Satisfied with the timely help offered by SUVI Cameroon Survivor Initiative, the student sends out words of gratitude to the donors.
Due to those things, we are going to put our heads to school very well and learn for a good future.
SUVI Cameroon Survivor Initiative is an independent initiative free from any political binding at the service of vulnerable Cameroonians in need, especially displaced persons. They will carry out humanitarian duties to other parts of the country to assist other needy Cameroonians in the days ahead.
3 suspected bandits have been arrested in a day in Sanaga Maritime Division of the Littoral Region. The 3 men are accused of robbing a businesswoman of 4 million francs CFA. They were presented to the press recently, as our reporter Gladys Bomotongina tells us in the French language.
Iobi Martin, Macon Albert et Mbogo Otu sont les présumés malfrats interpellés hier dans la ville de Déa par les forces de maintien de l'ordre de la gendarmerie nationale de la Sanaga maritime. Ces derniers seraient allés, comme l'explique le commandant de compagnie, avec la carrure de potentiels clients de Madame Bissek, vendeuse de porc, et par la suite, comme véritable agenda, auraient volé une somme de 4 millions de francs CFA à cette dame.
C'est moi qu'on a aussi contacté des mercenaires, c'est-à-dire un jeune homme de 20 ans, M. Viburo Martin, et un certain Taché Kamoni qui est en fuite. C'est ces 3 qui ont pris la route pour le village Apou, venant qui voulait acheter du porc parce que Madame Bessay Anne fait dans l'élevage. Mais c'était pas ça le but de leur présence ce matin.
Bien que tout semble confirmer leur culpabilité, le dénommé Macon ne reconnaît pas avoir dérobé cet argent, pendant que son confrère Mbogo déclare être victime d'une fausse accusation.
Déclaré que les malfrats ont pris de l'argent 4 millions. Moi je reconnais, je n'ai rien, moi je n'ai rien.
L'histoire, ce n'est que mon histoire que j'ai racontée. Je n'ai jamais demandé à M. Macon, le voilà, de me venger. C'est le hasard, car ce n'est même pas la maman en question, ce n'est même pas la famille là qui m'avait mis en prison.
L'un des complices de ce forfait, le nommé Taché Kamoni, reste toujours introuvé.
Reports from Konsamba confirms the Presbyterian Hospital at Dongen neighborhood was attacked over the weekend by armed individuals who made away with huge amount of money. According to sources that forced open the doors, investigations are ongoing to apprehend the culprits. Nora Kakibi tells us more.
Over the weekend in Donga, in Kongsamba in the Mongo division, some unidentified men attacked a hospital and made away with huge sums of money. Sources say these men had made a calculated move and discovered that the cashier was not on seat, and they found a convenient moment to hit their target. The armed men, according to sources, made away with a huge sum of 3 million CFA francs. The local population say these men of the underworld have been instilling fright and pain in the people with the acts of vandalizing for the past months. According to the medical authority in the Presbyterian Hospital, he says he was shocked upon arrival from Douala with his driver as he went to the hospital and discovered that his office and that of the accountants had been vandalized. The locks of the doors were destroyed and forced open, which facilitated their mission. The thieves made away with 3 million francs. The drawers in the accountant's office were all vandalized.
Le chauffeur et moi étions à Douala. Nous sommes arrivés ici aux alentours de 23h30. C'est à 3h30. Qu'un de nos personnels agents d'entretien qui vit là en bas vient à la maison me dire que l'hôpital a été cambriolé. Directement, nous descendons vers les lieux. Nous constatons que le bureau Les gardiens sont d'abord, ont été ligotés. Deux gardiens qui étaient ligotés et nos bureaux vandalisés, comme vous voyez.
The sad incident has been reported to the law enforcement office and investigations are ongoing to track down the men of the underworld. They will certainly be brought to justice.
The business community and the population of Tiko municipality have joined the Vacanso in Operation Keep Tiko Clean under the supervision of Mayor Peter Ekomemesoso. They were on the streets earlier today for mass cleanup. Jobe Moki Regan.
The high rate of garbage in some gutters in Tiko municipality is a call for concern. It is in this light that they launched a cleanup exercise titled Operation Keep Gutters Clean with slogan Tiko must be clean.
If I came out this afternoon is because I had a mission as far as concerning the cleaning up of the Tiko town. Tiko is a town that has been years back a renowned town. But if you look at the development of Tiko, you look at the neatness of the town, it remains so archaic. And I think it's my preoccupation to make sure that Tiko takes the standard of the name it has been known before.
Cleaning exercise that started on the early hours of Monday morning, the seen business operators in Tiko town buying the vision of the mayor by cleaning and digging the gutters with strict instruction from Mayor Peter Ekomemesoso III. And to some business people, the vision of the mayor in keeping Tiko clean is highly welcome.
The people we are working with inside Tiko, that's so they see how the gutter look like. But if we can work into this end now, I believe Tiko will be fine. Tiko will be fine. But I love what people are doing. I really love it. And the initiative of the mayor, as I'm seeing, is doing a very good work. I feel that he should be he's showing us a good leadership. So I believe God will strengthen him in all he's doing.
It should be noted that the Operation Keep All Gutters Clean has been received with mixed feeling, as some business people have constructed their business extension on some gutters which must be demolished in no distant time.
We have been there for more than 2 weeks. You know, man, being who he is stubborn by nature. And so sometimes if you don't apply some extraordinary methods, you cannot combat them. That's why you saw us breaking down some structures, pulling down roofs, and digging the gutters ourselves. We needed to take that bold step. Those who are happy are those who have already bought the vision, knowing that there cannot be development without destruction. Those who are angry are those who don't know that for development to take place there will be some destruction. But hear me and hear me well. Someday, sometime they will be happy when they must have seen the visibility of the development.
It should be recalled that before Mayor Mesoso outing, series of communiques have been released and communicated to the business family of Tiko municipality.
2 suspects have been arrested in connection to the recent explosion at some neighborhood in Yaoundé, which left some people injured. This occurred yesterday, November 1, 2020. Eileen Sama reports.
2 out of the 3 alleged suspects who detonated the bomb at about 8 p.m. in a crowded bar called Sector A, located some 200 meters from Carrefour Sam in Yaoundé, were arrested shortly after the incident occurred by security forces who stormed the scene immediately following the explosion, according to sources. Several persons are reported injured when the homemade bomb was activated in the Sam neighborhood in Yaoundé 3 municipality, and huge material losses recorded. In recent time, improvised explosive devices have been locally used in the country's capital city since the beginning of this year, with at least 5 neighborhoods in Yaoundé affected: Etudi, Mokolo, Damas, Melen, and now Sam. Security forces remain alert as investigations continue.
Thanks for watching Prime News on My Media Prime. The news was produced by Ewan Elaine Olinga, coordinated by Lasha Kingsley. My name is Genda Pelgin Blanche King. Stay tuned to My Media Prime. Good night.
Save your money with Orange. Buy your Orange SIM for